Hello, my name is Jacqueline Wilson, and my new book, Baby Love, is out now. I think Baby Love will appeal to girls who have grown up reading my books, but maybe feel that now in their teens it's not cool to read Jacqueline Wilson books and want to read about more issues in depth, shall we say. So I would suggest that 12-year-olds upwards would want to read Baby Love and get a lot out of it. But I hope it doesn't actually stop there. I hope any young women who occasionally say, hey, do you remember when we all had a Jacqueline Wilson craze, something like that. I think this could appeal to them too. I hope so. And I hope also it might just be a discussion point in schools for, say, Key Stage 3 pupils to discuss the whole issue of responsibility, relationships, sex education, and to try and see how things have changed from the past and what are the best ways forward. I've written heaps of books. It's over 100 now. Don't ask me to name them all. It would be impossible. But mostly I've written for younger readers, up to the age of about 12 or so. I have written some teenage books in the past, which were very popular. I thought it was time to write a new teenage book with a very serious theme and something that would move people. And I threw myself into the writing of this book. It was almost as if I'd gone back to the early 1960s. And I think it might show my readers just how different life was then, and yet how inside you felt the same emotions, the same excitement, and the same huge terrors too. I've just been read a quote from someone who says, how does it feel to be one of the most formative writers this generation? If that's really true, I feel proud. I adore it if I'm on a train or going round shops or something and some 20-something comes up to me and say, oh, you were part of my childhood. It really means a great deal to me. And I just feel so proud and so pleased if this is really true. If I could rewrite now any of the stories I wrote long ago in the past, would I do it? And when I think about it, it might be quite interesting, particularly for the books that deal with older people, because I wrote a series of 4 books about these 14-year-old girls, Ellie, Magda and Nadine, and they often crop up in conversations with people who'd read them when they were round about that age. And I sometimes wonder, if I were writing them now, would I write them differently? Or indeed, I could think of another way. And if Ellie, Magda and Nadine were, I don't know, late 20s or so, what would their lives be like now? What were they doing? I mean, I don't generally reread my books. It's a bit of a torture, actually, because I always want to pick and change things. But these girls hang around a bit, possibly because a lot of people talk about them to me. I don't know. I would just have to think about it. Sometimes characters hang around inside my head. Not all of them, I'd go mad if they did, but those girls hang around. I mean, Tracy Beaker has always hung around determinedly, and I've written about her as a mum. Who knows? Who knows what I'll come up with in the future? I think the thing I've been most proud of in my writing career is when somebody comes up to me and says, I always hated reading. I thought it was so boring. But then I read whatever title it is that I've written. And they said, and it suddenly seemed cool to read. And I really love reading now. And because I've been writing a long time, I get quite a few emails from people at university reading English literature saying it's all because of you. You turned me on to reading. And I mean, it's wonderful to write books for people like I was, who reading was more important even than eating. But even more special in a way is to show other people that reading can be fun. So I'm most proud of that. Sometimes grown-up fans discuss my books because everybody goes through a stage when you're young and you and your friends all get into something, no matter what it is. And so when groups get together, I know that sometimes one or t'other of my titles crop up, and people say, oh, they had such dark themes sometimes, and I had no idea about this, and you changed my life. And I think it's interesting that there is such strong reaction. I hope I haven't upset anybody in any way, but I think I wrote the sort of books I do because when I was young, books were pretty bland. They might be wonderful and beautifully written, but I was always puzzled why teenagers in books never really seemed to want to get together and discuss the sort of things that I knew real teenagers did. And for children in my books, they always, in the past in children's books, mummies and daddies never had arguments and there was never any money troubles or anything. I wanted to show what my life and my experiences have been like, though I never write directly in an autobiographical way. So I did, I suppose, write some groundbreaking stuff. And I always hope that if somebody started reading a book of mine too young, they would just sort of think, oh no, I don't really want to read about that, and put it down. Sometimes people have said, I tried this book, wasn't quite for me then, but then I read it again a couple of years later and I was absolutely gripped. I just feel if I have had any kind of impact and made people interested in reading and want to feel that my characters have actually had a life of their own, I mean, wow, that is a fantastic achievement, and I'm thrilled to bits if this has actually happened.